Hello and welcome back to Film Flashback, where I take a look at movies and shows to see what made them great or what could have made them better. I am your host MD, and today I want to talk about episode 5 of the great Obi Wan Kenobi series. Bottom line, it was spectacular, and that was mainly because of Darth Vader. He was as great as I had hoped for, and I'm truly looking forward to his own show someday. But I had a few issues with this episode, and they are mostly centered around Reva. Now, I have loved her character throughout, and I have been waiting to find out the true source of her anger. And now that it has been revealed, I am more confused than ever. I have two changes that I believe would have made this episode perfect and answered all of our questions. But before we get into it, here's your warning that there are major spoilers ahead. Okay, first of all, how did Reva survive a lightsaber to the gut as a child when we saw Qui-Gon Jinn die from his wound? It's implied that Anakin stabbed her, but somehow she survived and hid with the bodies until someone helped her. It's hard to believe that someone so young would have been able to live while a Jedi Master couldn't. And how did she survive getting stabbed in the exact same place by Vader? Maybe she got the Fennec Shand treatment. Also, what was her ultimate plan for taking down Vader, who is far stronger than her? She hunted him for years, and I would think she would have had a better plan of attack instead of fighting him head on. And why did Vader let her live since she knows who he really is? There are so many questions that need to be resolved, and the first change I would make would be to have Reva not know Anakin was the one who attacked them that night during Order 66, or get stabbed by him either. Make a flashback where we see these young Padawans on the run, and this child, the one we saw in the amber, tells her to hide in the corner while he checks for an exit to escape. She hides behind a pillar and catches a glimpse of a hooded figure taking him and the rest of their friends out. She sees a lightsaber on the floor nearby and has a chance to stab him in the back, but is paralyzed with fear. So we get a close-up of her hiding next to their bodies while stormtroopers rip through the palace as she cries in horror. Terrified and confused, young Reva should wait while saying to herself that Obi-Wan will come and rescue her. Until that thought is the only thing keeping her alive, until she sees a message from him that the Jedi should stay away from the temple and remain in hiding until further notice. This message would devastate Reva because the one person she thought would save her is now telling everyone to stay away. So she is now all alone and escapes through a hidden tunnel that leads to the sewers, where she lives and becomes angry, bitter, and full of rage. Also, suffering from survivor's guilt since she is the only one left. She blames Obi-Wan for everything and vows to one day honor her friends by taking him down. Then have her years later get picked up by the Grand Inquisitor and renamed as the third sister. And show her angrily walking past the child in amber, reminding her of what happened that night. All of this would explain why she is so determined to find Ben from the first moment we meet her. It would also be interesting to see how Ben reacts to this information too. Back then, he went from facing Anakin here to watching over Luke on Tatooine instead of looking for survivors. Fast forward to the tracker Reva put into Lola, revealing they are on Jabim. Vader issues the command to Reva to go down and corner Obi-Wan, but to not engage. Instead, she goes and confronts him and begins to fight him one-on-one. Vader finds out and angrily yells to get his ship ready since he is the one who will kill Obi-Wan. Meanwhile, Ben only agrees to fight Reva to buy time for Leia to get the door open so Roken can get everyone to safety. Reva has been dreaming of this moment for years and should have a plan of attack. Make it so that she doesn't take him head on at first and uses the elements around her like the rocks, debris, metal, anything to throw at him. and gains the upper hand, especially since Ben is still rusty. Then the vengeful Reva tries to take him head on, but Ben uses the Force to read her mind to find out why she's doing all this. He sees in her memories that she was there that night of Order 66. She then reads him right back and uncovers the secret, that Anakin is Vader and he is the one who killed her friends. This revelation should shake Reva to her core, that she has been serving under the one man who ruined her life, how everything she believed has been a lie, but still question why Obi-Wan never came for her. He would then apologize and explain he didn't think anyone would have survived, and how brave she was for making it this far on her own. Ben then would invite her to join them, and she would agree, but first she would have to take care of something. This conversation, I believe, would provide the closure she needs, and she would now be ready to help him instead. So when Vader lands, she has a whole new plan, which leads me to my second change, Tala. Her death scene was powerful and extremely sad, but was undermined moments later when Obi-Wan surrendered. It felt like he forgot about it right after. It's like her sacrifice didn't mean anything because Ben just gave up. We have seen her in only a few episodes, but her character has been a vitally important part of the show. And since Ben knows Vader is mainly after him, then he should have surrendered before any shots were fired. So here is how I would have liked the ending to go. First, have Vader land only to find dead stormtroopers. Ben realizes what Reva is up to, but he knows he's too late. Reva takes Darth Vader on the same way she fought Ben, using the elements and even the dead stormtroopers to throw at him. But while this bothered Obi-Wan, it does nothing to Vader. So even though she's going to lose, at least she had a plan. Because taking him head on like she did in the episode didn't make a lot of sense. And this time, Vader admits he knew all along who she was and only used her to find Obi-Wan. Then stabs her like we saw, but this time, she dies. This would allow her to make the turn from a hated villain to a sympathetic hero. Then show Roken struggling to get everyone on board and Tala buying time by sealing off the door like we saw, to Ben's surprise. He wants to help, but not only has she sealed off the door, but he also knows that he has to get Leia to safety. Tala approaches Vader in the cave and uses the bomb to blow up everything. But Vader was able to shield himself at the last second from the blast, rip the door open, then snatch the plane like we saw, while everyone else escapes on the other plane. This would have made her death more impactful, since it was the last vision we had of her, and that her sacrifice actually gave them time to get away. So there you have it. Those are the two main changes I would have made to episode 5 of Obi Wan Kenobi. I still truly like the show, but I think these changes would have made it so much better. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about this video and the episode. Also, please like and subscribe so you can enjoy future videos on my channel. Thanks for watching.